What's up, everybody? It is I, Sigma, and we are back with episode 16 of the BBET GamesCast. I am joined by Superman Jeff 12.
What's going on?
As well as Blue Bones.
What's going on? It's your boy.
And we're going to start off by letting you know today's going to be another one of those spoiler discussion episodes. It's going to be for that new Netflix anime, Cannon Busters.
Cannon Busters.
Created by LaShawn Thomas, one of the brothers.
Yup.
For us, by us, as some people will call it. But we're going to save that to the end, so if you haven't watched it yet, definitely go check that out and come back. But if you haven't watched it and you want to listen to the rest of the podcast, it will be at the end after even the sign-offs, so don't run away if you wanted to listen to that. It's coming just at the very end. But as always, what we like to do is we want to start with what we've been playing. So, Jeff, do you want to start us off?
Yeah, I'll go first. So, recently Gears 5 came out.
True.
Played that on stream a little bit. That was fun. I did my my placement matches for ranked team deathmatch.
Yeah.
So right now I got 4 wins, 1 loss.
Oh, so you didn't finish it yet?
No, I got one more match to do. So
I thought it was 5.
Oh yeah, 3 wins, 1 loss. Sorry.
Okay.
One more match.
I was like, my man.
Depending on how that goes is when I'll be ranked. So I'm thinking I'm gonna win.
Do you know how the rankings work? Like, is it like Overwatch where they give you like a bronze, a silver, a platinum?
Yeah,
everything's like Overwatch.
Yeah. When I played Gears 4, that's how it was. You got a silver 2, that type of stuff. Depending on that's kind of how your ranking went. The first match I lost because I don't know. I had to get used to the mechanics. There was an ice map where you can damage the ice and kind of cause your enemy to freeze to death.
Yeah.
Really?
I'm like, what is
matter of fact, there was always like map hazards. Now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, but it's been a while. I didn't play Gears 4 as much as I played 2 and 3.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of that was stuff I didn't really touch on.
But what was it? Gears 3 where it was like Razor Hail.
Yeah.
Like just.
I'm sorry, Sigmo. What was that again? Could you? I didn't hear it the first time.
Everybody knows what I'm talking about. It was like it was like raining blades of ice or something, and then Marcus Phoenix, Jean DiMaggio, the voice actor, would go Razor Hail.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, when you couldn't go out. Yes, it was pretty cool. I mean, my favorite was always the crew. I mean, they weren't environmental, but they were.
Yeah.
Like
a threat in the darkness. Yeah, that was cool. That was in Gears 1.
So yeah, I've been playing a little bit of that. I was able to get into my groove. Because it's always takes a game or two to get back into it. But once I get back into it, I'm into it. I don't do all the. I used to do like the little wall bouncing and stuff. I don't do that in this one, and 4 and 5 because it just takes too much for me to have to put into it to actually start doing it again. So I just play tactically. Stuff that and then your headshots, and then utilizing all your weapons, not just the Ganasher. Even though the Ganasher is probably like my favorite weapon. I did come across a few new weapons, which are pretty cool. And then, like I said, the maps are pretty cool. They seem a lot bigger than the ones in 4 as well.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
Yeah, they are. Like one map had to be like it was like huge, and they're pretty. They're not repetitive. You see a lot of different variations of stuff used throughout the maps. Want to be a snow map, want to be like this oil refinery or something. So it definitely reminds me of a lot of the Gear 1 maps.
Yeah, those were probably my favorite maps.
Yeah, they had like the best one. Like remember Mansion? Oh man, Mansion was my favorite map.
Oh, they should bring that back. That was a dope map.
Mansion was the stuff, man. I love that. I'm trying to think, was there anything else? I do like the Halo characters in there, and even the Terminator characters. They look like they fit.
Yeah, they really made them just fit into that aesthetic.
And I think that's pretty cool. I'm hoping they do more stuff like that. I'm glad they kind of.
Batista's coming.
Huh?
Batista's coming. He kind of fits into that world.
That. But I'm not really excited about that. No offense. But also, I'm glad they kind of strayed away from the card situation. Yeah. It seems to be less of a focus than it was in there because you had so many variations of different characters. Like getting the one you actually wanted was like next to impossible.
Right.
So like with this now, you're just like leveling up, and the cards that you get, you're just upgrading that skill, right?
Yeah, for horde mode. That's usually what the cards are for now.
And for escape.
Yeah. So
pretty cool.
I haven't done escape yet.
We actually played a little bit of escape on stream last week, and honestly, it was on the beginner level, so it really wasn't that challenging. But the concept is cool because like the gas chases you and you have to kind of fight through the enemies. It just there was not enough pushback on that level, so I do want to try it again on harder difficulties and maybe with some modifiers or whatever, because I think you're able to put that stuff on there too to make it harder.
Yeah, we put it on beginner because we had that issue before where it just ended up on beginner.
Well, it starts on beginner, but in this instance, Blue specifically said we should start on beginner.
Just so we understand.
Yeah, it's a fair point because we hadn't done it before, but it was a little too easy, even though we'd never seen it before. Like it was.
So what's like horde mode? Horde mode progressively got harder.
Yeah, even on beginner. Yeah.
So okay. I mean, that's pretty much all I've been playing.
All right, I'll go next. I've been playing a little bit of Gears, but Jeff kind of talked about most of that because I haven't played as much as him. But I have been checking out some of the Monster Hunter Iceborn DLC. Man, Monster Hunter is a fun ass game. Like I've probably said that before, but the Iceborn stuff adds so much. And it's like this is my first time getting into the G rank / master rank type stuff, which is like the true end game for Monster Hunter, and it is legit hard. Like they really do just kind of start you over. Like the same way how when you did like the base story, you would go into high rank and then you had to kind of get high rank armors and like fight the high rank versions of monsters and stuff.
It's another tier of that.
Yeah, this is basically that, except the new monsters are subspecies, so like they look slightly different and they act very different. Like they do different things to you. Like you have to go basically prepare as if it's a brand new monster, even though there are certain things about the monster that are similar.
Right.
Like so I made it through the first two monsters, and then I kind of hit a wall with the Viper Tobi Kadachi. It's like, it's kind of like it's kind of like a poison version. No, it's not electric. It has paralysis and poison.
Oh, that's scary.
Yeah, because if it bites you, then it can paralyze you. But then it's like its tail is like shooting poison darts, and it's like smacking you with poison all the time. Yeah. So like the first time I fought that thing, and its poison hurts like a lot. Like the amount of poison damage it was doing to me was way higher than any poison thing before. So that's how you know, like these are monsters on a different
another level.
Yeah. So like I had to go back and I had to make sure I had some kind of master rank armor on. Like I had like a chest piece and I think some legs or whatever. And I basically put all the poison resist jewels I could on my on my person so that I just didn't have to deal with the poison anymore, because that was kind of the main issue. Like I would get poisoned, and before I could even heal, the poison would take down my health, even if I wasn't dead already.
Man, that's some potent poison.
Yeah, like it was hurting. But just last night, I was actually able to finally beat that thing, and it wasn't too difficult once the poison was off. But now I really got the bug. So I want to beat that. I want to beat whatever's next. I want to build. It's like a brand new game almost, because I want to just build all of these armor sets. Like pretty much all the stuff I was using before is now useless.
Yeah.
Like in most cases, it's just not going to be effective. So I just need to start from scratch. Just hunt, gather all sorts of materials, and then start building like really cool armor sets, and then spending hours agonizing over like the little details to like maximize this, that, and that. That's the best part of like an action RPG to me, is just maximizing your set and then going out and seeing how effective it is. Or not effective, because maybe you built a piece of garbage set. But yeah, other than that, I was working on 2 reviews at once. But neither one of those games I think will be out by the time this podcast drops. But within that week they should be out. So definitely check for my reviews on Rebel Cops, which is a spin-off from the This Is the Police series. It's a turn-based tactics game.
Oh.
And a first-person puzzle game called The Sojourn, which I think there are a couple people who were looking at that.
I've heard of that one.
Yeah, Myst or The Witness, like kind of just a beautiful world and then like puzzles all over it. Like no like combat or whatnot, but the main thing you're doing is just solving puzzles in like this kind of crazy fantasy looking setting. So I'll have my videos for those up at probably some point next week, because I think both those release dates are in the middle of the week or at the end of the week. But that's pretty much it for me. Blue, what have you been gaming on?
Man, so Mortal Kombat 11 is still going on strong in my house.
Did you get good at it?
What's that?
Did you get good?
You will never find out because you're never online to play me.
I've been giving you some time to kind of raise yourself up, so that way when I beat you, it's all that more sweet. Because I owe you for some Fighter Z. Like
you do.
Like it was like no mercy. You would go in and.
I mean, I think it would be disrespectful to just give you mercy off the bat without testing your abilities.
Is it though?
Yeah. But okay, yeah. So Mortal Kombat 11, I'm loving it. I'm still rocking with that. I've been playing. So I did it once on my stream. I played Moonlighter, and I'm still playing that game. Just like whenever I have a little bit of time, I jump in there, jump in the dungeons, come back out, sell my stuff, get rich, and just keep going. I don't know. It's such a relaxing. Loop. Yeah, it's a really cool loop, and I'm learning a little bit more about the things that you can do in the town. Like, first of all, in the dungeons, you can pick up eggs, and as long as you leave with it, you can get like a baby version of one of the monsters, and they come fight with you. It's super crazy.
That's cool.
Yeah. It's just like little things like that. And they do damage, significant damage, but without them, you'll still be cool. You know what I mean? It's just like a nice little bonus. They don't take damage or anything like that. They're just there. Anyway, Moonlighter's been really fun.
Yeah, the music in that game I really dug.
Yeah, it's a Game Pass one, man. It's fun. And last but not least, Final Fantasy 14. Jumping back into it, I had a little bit of a hiatus, but me and my free company have been going through some contests and stuff like that, so we had to meet up, and I'm jumping back into the daily grind. But anyway, there is a new patch coming out that I wanted to talk to you guys about, and it's adding a whole bunch of new stuff, but I should say the most significant thing that they're adding to patch 5.1 of Final Fantasy 14 is a Nier Automata crossover.
Really?
Yeah. And they've already kind of hinted at it with some of the gear that they let you get in the game with some blindfolds and stuff like that, and some very similar dresses to the main character.
2B,
but,
yeah.
Yeah, 2B, that's right. But yeah, no, they're actually doing an official crossover. Some of the images already look amazing. And I'm just excited whenever Final Fantasy 14 does a crossover, because it never turns out bad. The Monster Hunter crossover was great. I'm still working to...
Is this like the year of the crossover? Because everything is crossing over with everything else. And it's like multiple ones. Like Terminator's in Gears and in...
Yeah.
Wait, what was the other game it's in?
Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat, yeah.
Yeah.
Witcher's in Monster Hunter.
Soul Calibur 6.
2B's in Soul Calibur 6 as well.
Oh, that's right. I think, you know what I think? Everyone is just saying, like, look, people love all of our stuff. We don't always have to compete. Let's just make some crossover, make this bag real quick. Like, it's not that serious.
Smash Bros, of course, the greatest crossover.
I think that's great for the community because it makes a lot more things possible, for the fans.
Yeah.
Than, just...
It's fan service.
Yeah.
And we appreciate it.
I suspect we have the Marvel Cinematic Universe to thank for a lot of the more willingness to put characters in the same world with one another. That's my guess. Okay. I don't have anything to back that up.
That's not a bad hypothesis. But okay, so you got the Nier Automata crossover, and without going too far into it, if you guys are maining Ninja, you're kind of screwed.
When they nerfing them.
I think they're getting nerfed, and yeah, ninjas are getting nerfed, and it looks like summoners are getting reworked. So look out for that.
Ninjas, man.
Yeah, man. Because before they're a little underpowered, and then they super buffed them in the Shadowbringers expansion, and then everyone was like, "Oh my god, I'm a ninja maid," and they're like, "Hold on now, relax. We messed up." And some UI changes too, so that's basically the big hitters on that. So yeah, you're gonna see me back on Final Fantasy 14 on Monday. I'm gonna be streaming, probably going through dailies and exploring some features of the new expansion. It's gonna be 7 p.m. Eastern. I'm excited.
That's what's up. Yeah, it sounds cool.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to do it for what we've been playing over the past week. We're going to move now on to our topics. First topic up, there's a second Game of Thrones prequel in the works.
Yeah.
We already knew that there was one that was supposed to focus on something. It's kind of mysterious. They haven't really nailed down what it is. But this second one is supposed to focus on the Targaryen-centric Fire and Blood books from George R.R. Martin. You guys are hyped for another Game of Thrones show?
I mean, I feel like if it's done right, it can be good.
Mm-hmm.
The first one is supposed to be like 1,000 years before the events of the current Game of Thrones.
Yeah, so that would predate this then too.
Yeah. So it's supposed to deal with like the children of this forest and stuff like that.
Right.
So I mean, I'm excited about it. I mean, to me, anything Game of Thrones related or Lord of the Rings related, I'm looking forward to different TV shows of that, and I'm glad they're doing those things before a lot of this stuff. After that series was over, it was just over. But also, the quality of what people are putting out are a lot higher than it used to be as well. But usually you get these spin-offs and it's like, what is this? Like,
what's
going on? Like, no, thank you. But, if they're putting something out with the Game of Thrones name on it, you better believe that it's going to be flushed out and something that they, put a lot of effort and time into.
Especially after recent scrutinization of their latest season.
Yeah.
They have to put out something good.
Yep. Now, the two brothers, are they are the same directors doing it?
I doubt it. I highly doubt it.
Yeah, I don't think so.
But kind of a counterpoint to that is the closest thing I can compare the Game of Thrones situation to is the Lord of the Rings, where they had a great trilogy based in the fantasy setting, and it did so well. Of course, the studios were like, we got to keep this going. They went back in the well and found a prequel story to try and stretch out or whatever. Or
The Hobbit, I love The Hobbit.
You love The Hobbit? Because a lot of people hated that second trilogy.
I love The Hobbit. It added that it wasn't the Lord of the Rings. So first off, forget that. It wasn't the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, it was about The Hobbit.
It was about The Hobbit. So if you read The Hobbit or played any of the Hobbit games, it was The Hobbit. It wasn't the Lord of the Rings. This is before all of that happened. Yeah. So it was like, a little bit of comedy in there. There's some sudden hits at stuff. And it was pretty much the story. You know what I mean? It was the
there
story.
And back again.
Exactly. It's that journey of what happened before. Now, if you would have got it in reverse, people would have loved it. Like, you got The Hobbit first and then got the Lord of the Rings. Like, yeah. But when you go backwards, people often aren't receptive of it because it's not what they wanted.
And you kind of know what's going to happen already. It kind of defeats a lot of dramatic irony in certain situations.
Yeah, I'm weird.
I'm so glad.
I could read something, but reading it and seeing it come to life, for me, are two different things.
I'm so glad you guys are saying this.
And watch the anime. So it's like, and neither one takes away from each other.
I'm so glad you guys are saying this because you know what other popular series did this same strategy and was successful? Star Wars.
Was it though? Because I feel like people also hated those prequels.
Look. There's lots of people who don't like the prequels, right?
Yeah, I like them personally.
Yeah, I like them too. But the fact is, those were successful movies. Lots of people viewed it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I enjoyed the prequels. They were
a lot. Go ahead.
They refreshed an older story and that's kind of what they usually do to refresh an older story for a newer generation, and then but keep the current fans.
Yeah, it's to make current fans reinforce the old story and make it more memorable and more significant. That's what the prequels are for. So, hopefully, I hope that's what these new series do for Game of Thrones. I've almost completely lost interest in Game of Thrones because of that last season.
Because of the last season, right, yeah. So I feel like the kind of cultural zeitgeist for Game of Thrones has, cooled down.
Yeah.
So every time I hear a new announcement about, okay, this is a Game of Thrones show, there's another Game of Thrones show, I'm like, maybe focus on one and see if that actually can recapture some of that magic. Because at this point, it reads to me like, we made so much money off of Game of Thrones, what else can we grab at to make more money? And that doesn't seem genuine. It's like, was there a real creative drive behind bringing this story to the forefront? Because that doesn't seem like the motivation.
The Walking Dead and and what was that?
Fear the Walking Dead.
Yeah, that didn't necessarily get the same reception.
That also felt like
I'm gonna tell you
kind of a cash grab. Like we just want to kind of expand and keep a second revenue stream for this series, because the first one was still going, even at that case.
Yep.
I'm gonna tell you the difference right now.
At some point.
The difference is people didn't like the endings, right? Now, look, Star Wars, people love the ending, and they want to see how everything built up to that significant ending. Game of Thrones, people didn't like the ending. Why do we want to go back and see what builds up to that?
Yeah, because you know how it ends, and then you get disappointed again when you think about how it ends.
How it ends, exactly, right? And that's with Lord of the Rings, even, right? The people who like The Hobbit, they liked it because it built up to this grand ending.
Yeah, and it all began with Bilbo. People don't remember that. It didn't start with Frodo. Bilbo laid the grounds for what was going on. He found the ring. He set that all up. So you gotta give him his credit. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You gotta praise him in the Hall of Fame. You can't just be pooping on him and like, oh, yeah. But he was the OG. He laid it down for everybody.
In the Hall of Fame, is he doing like the
first
Heisman pose to Schmeagol?
but it's like the ring in his hand is like.
You kind of see Legolas show up. You see a little bit of this. You get a little bit of the Lord of the Rings.
I do
like that last battle, but it's a story. It's a journey.
I love how they were very accurate with the ages, and Legolas looked exactly the same.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I thought that was really fun. When I first saw it, I'm like, why is this dude looking? Oh, he's like 100 and something years old. He's cool, yeah.
And then my man, Smaug. Seeing that dragon in person.
Yo.
I remember seeing him seeing him in the book, and it was like,
like you can't even imagine that.
No.
In the book. And then when you see it on screen, you're just like, oh my gosh, they was not playing. But you know what? Getting back to it, the prequels for Game of Thrones, hopefully they do the rest of the series justice. Maybe it'll help explain why they ended it the way they did. Maybe they can try and, do something. I doubt it. Yeah. But, hope for the best.
Hopefully it'll have its own self-contained stories that are interesting enough and mysterious enough to hold your attention without you having to worry so much about what comes after.
Yeah.
So, my hopes are, I have high hopes for it. I guess I want to say, I hope it's good, but my care levels aren't super high. Whether it's great or bad, it's probably not going to affect me one way or the other. Unless it's really, really good, then I'll probably get back into it. But if it's really bad, then that sucks. But I think I'll live.
Exactly.
But that's going to do it for Game of Thrones' new show. Our next topic is a Kotaku story. Apparently, the 2020 Olympics, which are going to be held in Japan, they're going to be having eSports tournaments as kind of the opener for the actual Olympic Games.
How
they're
cool
going to be
is that?
there's going to be Street Fighter tournaments as well as Rocket League tournaments because they feel that those are kind of the easiest games to follow for casual people who are just watching for the first time, which makes a lot of sense, especially Street Fighter.
Yeah.
Everyone knows what Street Fighter is, and you can see it's just two people fighting each other. So what do you think that kind of suggests in terms of esports possibly becoming an Olympic event in the future? Because literally the entire world plays against one another now in these e-leagues.
Yeah.
What are the chances that the Olympics could take it on? This is probably the closest they've been to that, right?
It's definitely a step in the right direction. There's no bad thing about this for the esports community. When they're talking about putting esports in the Olympics, this is how it starts. There's nothing but positives about this move for the community, and I hopefully sooner rather than later we can get a couple of our basic games in there to really show people that we're serious athletes.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be great to have them on there, but I feel like it would have to be because they do different days. So this day, they have the Winter Olympics, they have the Summer Olympics. Mm-hmm. I would like to see maybe an e-sport Olympics.
A separate one.
Yeah.
Oh,
it might not
separate
flow
season
directly into you coming out of the shot put, and then he's like, oh well, we're gonna go over to the Overwatch. So,
that's a good point.
And they cut away. So I would like to see maybe it's a separate day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Still part of the Olympics, but a separate day. So today is esports. Boom. You know,
Yeah,
can
that's
see
probably
that.
that's
Yeah.
probably how they would do it. Because I think they do probably separate like that, right? Because I feel like whenever I'm watching,
They really do.
yeah,
'Cause
it's like
there's
the track and field days, and then it's
there's
like
the
all
aquatic
the
day.
exactly right.
Yeah.
So and then it's like a full
come
day
right
of
out of the,
gymnastics and stuff.
Come right out of the bobsledding event, go right into some SNK. Like, okay.
Yo,
I will
still
say,
thinking about how funny that would be just to watch.
I will say though, one possible negative is the level of competitiveness
Yeah.
that comes with kind of countries' reputations being on the line starts to get into like more seedy territory. Like we already know that there are certain controversies in esports already with like cheating and people
And
you know
the Olympics.
exactly the Olympics. So in the Olympics, I'm saying it's like a much higher level of cheating because you get whole countries backing athletes
True.
and stuff. So like imagine
that.
like the bragging rights United States would maybe want to get over Russia or China by saying we have better esport athletes than you, and what they would do to kind of support and help their team cheat. Like it's probably easier in a virtual medium to get cheating done than in a physical one. I mean,
Do you think so?
I don't know. Like,
I
like,
feel like it would be easier to detect cheating in a virtual one as long as you have. And the hardest part, it's not even about the virtual spectrum, in my opinion. Especially when it comes to this, it comes to the integrity of the workers.
Yeah.
Because if the guy who's checking all the code to make sure that there's no tampering is paid off, then
then
you
it
lose
defeats the
regardless.
purpose.
You see
I
what I'm
don't
saying?
think we'll have to worry about that because that's kind of like cheating in an election. I mean, who does that?
I mean,
I'm sitting here with my House of Cards knowledge talking about, hold on.
you don't even need House of Cards knowledge. You just need to watch the news the last couple of years.
Facts.
Oh man, like I feel like it's just the higher the stage, the more the possibility of just other forces interfering on the sanctity of the competition. Like it's not just a esports thing, like a video games thing. Like just like you were saying, there's been cheating in the Olympics before. What's your favorite movie, Terrence? Cool Runnings? When he put the brick in the front of the.
Oh damn.
Okay, so first of all,
That was
just because I'm
good.
Jamaican doesn't mean that Cool Runnings is my favorite movie. All
He
right.
said, "Feel the rhythm."
Also, it's top 5 for me. Okay? I love that movie.
Feel the rhythm. Feel the beat.
Oh my gosh. No.
But no, yeah, like that
not
was
gonna
based on a real
correct
story. I don't know if that portion was real, but their coach was caught cheating in the Olympics and stuff. I don't know if that portion was real.
Yeah,
Oh, their
it was.
coaches start cheating?
Yeah, that was part of the movie's plot. Is that the coach they
yeah,
hired?
yeah. Oh, what's his
John
name?
Candy.
John Candy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, what happened to him? But anyway.
I think he
Oh my
died.
gosh, he passed away,
Yeah, he
fam.
died.
Oh man, condolences.
Years back.
How many years back?
A lot.
Yeah.
It was a while back.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Man.
That was a terrible note to go out on, Joe. Whatever happened to that guy? What's he doing, lazy ass?
Oh man.
Well, speaking of laziness, our next
Yeah.
topic is a crazy new adventure from Nintendo. Nintendo announced the Ring Fit Adventure game and peripheral. Have you guys watched this video?
I have.
First of all, shout out to KC with this segues. Amazing. Second of all, yo, I like this video. No.
I'm really of two minds about it, but I just want to say, if you have not seen what Nintendo's Ring Fit is, please go and watch this video. Watch the entire thing.
Stop the podcast. Stop the video.
It's
Watch
insane. I just want to real talk before we go into what it is. I just want to talk about how insane that video is.
Yes, it is. Like the actors are super
Yo,
energetic. Like
it feels like they took like a triple shot of espresso or
like,
something.
oh my god, this is a new thing. We're doing it right now.
Like their faces are just like, it's like they pinned the smiles and their eyes up.
Yeah,
They're so intense.
like they got clips on the back of their head.
Oh my god, it's
I'm
kind
glad
of
I was
scary.
the only one to notice that.
It's kind of scary.
It was in the living room bugging out. It's a living room. Relax.
But yeah, the thing they're advertising is a new peripheral from Nintendo. It's literally like a big plastic, it looks like ring.
It's got components in it.
Yeah, you put one of the Joy-Cons in like a sleeve on it, and then you have grips to actually hold the thing. So think of like a really huge steering wheel, like a monster truck steering wheel or a bus steering wheel or something, right?
Without anything in the middle.
Yeah, there's nothing in the middle. It's literally just a ring. And you can like flex it around. You could pull on. It's kind of like a resistance band in that way. But then there's also a leg attachment, literally just like a holster that goes around one of your thighs. And then you put the other Joy-Con in that, and it tracks your movement.
Yep.
So it translates you moving the ring and like lifting your legs up and down into actions that then track you in kind of a fitness related story game on the Switch.
Yeah.
And it honestly looks kind of compelling.
It looks cool.
Yeah, like it's teaching you to do like cool ass exercises like squats and lunges and running in place and stuff,
and yoga, and you got to do all these poses and hold them. And the thing is, you know, when you're doing that, you're not thinking about working out. Yeah, you're sweating. Yeah, you're hurting. You're straining. But you're thinking about, let me just get to this next level real quick.
Yeah, you're like working on a score. You're completing objectives. It gamifies the workout.
You have to run to move forward. Like, I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking at Jeff's face.
What you got, Jeff? I've been seeing you twisted up your face over there.
Yeah,
you got it, man. To me, it's another whole
Wii Fit pad.
Not even Wii Fit pad. It's catering to people who, to me, won't be thinking about it. I mean, who's gonna go out and buy a $250 Switch so they could, do some Pilates in the living room? You know what I mean?
They're not trying to sell the system with this.
I don't know if it's a console seller, this thing.
Yeah.
But I think people who are playing, like, I'm not worried about, if I'm going to go work out, I'm going to go to the gym. I'm not going to go get me a Wii Fit and do it in the living room. People who already have a Switch, I don't feel like it's either kids or, people our age. They're not really looking for a Wii Fit ring, or whatever you're going to call it. This is more geared towards, like some
a casual, elderly.
Yeah, people who want to play in a living room, you know what I mean? And get a workout on, and they're, 20-minute workout in. And I don't think the audience is big enough. I could be wrong. But the difference with the Wii was it came out like that. Well, it's motion censored. So you get your kids a motion censored game. It gets them some exercise while they're playing video games, that type of stuff. To me, this is very, very specific on who it's geared towards. I have no interest in it, zero at all.
I mean, that's fair because I'm probably not gonna buy.
I am a paragon of physical masculinity.
Like, if I'm gonna work out, I'm gonna go to the gym. You know what I mean?
That makes sense.
It's a very narrow audience that it's geared towards. I mean,
the thing is, I'm not so sure it is that narrow of an audience because just like with the Wii, like Wii Fit was a successful product, and part of it is because the blue ocean strategy of their Wii sales, like that thing was everywhere, like it was in nursing homes and your grandparents and everybody had one. So yeah, it appealed to like a broader audience who maybe wanted to use it as like a exercise device. But the Switch is also very successful, maybe not as successful as the Wii is in terms of cultural phenomenon or whatever. But honestly, if you do have like a kid who's struggling with weight, this could be a good way to get them to exercise.
Especially if the kid struggling with weight is using the Switch 12 hours a day, sitting on his ass. You'd be like, okay.
That's bad parenting. So.
In a way, yes.
Definitely.
But then wouldn't good parenting be, trying to solve that solution, find a solution to that problem?
So the solution is to keep him on the Switch.
But making it active instead of passive.
Making it active.
Instead of saying,
give him that exercise.
Put that down.
It's a win-win situation. It's a win-win situation. Look, there's different methods of doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, look, Jeff, I'm gonna say this with all the love I got for you. Real talk. There's old school methods, way of doing things, and there's new school methods of doing things, and both of them can be right.
I feel threatened. You not with your hand.
No, but what I'm saying is, right? Yes, the kid could go outside and kick the ball around and run for 45 minutes or whatever.
That's true.
I think he can also stay inside and play with this Wii Fit ring, or what's it called?
The Ring Fit.
Ring Fit. Yeah. I said Wii Fit. Ring Fit ring or Ring Fit.
We know.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we know what you're talking about.
Either way, he can get that exercise in, right? And obviously depending on the situation, whether he enjoys being outside, whether he enjoys staying inside, whatever, that's neither here nor there. The fact is, it's an option, and Nintendo has constantly given motion options since the Wii and fitness options since the Wii, and I think it's a good thing that they're putting it out there and giving people the chance.
And it's probably not just for kids either. Like, Jeff is an adult. He's saying if he wanted to start focusing more on fitness, he'd just go to the gym. But honestly, there are a lot of adults who they don't want to go to the gym, or they feel like they can't go to a gym. Like,
they don't have the time.
Either they don't have the time, they don't have the means, or maybe they just have anxiety. Like, they're so overweight, or they don't like to be in public or whatnot. Maybe they tried workout videos at home. That doesn't suit them. This could be something that suits them because maybe they love to play video games. So if you make it a game, they're way more inclined to actually stick with it.
Well, I think maybe we should see. Well, does it have a release date yet?
That I don't know.
Because I like to see how it tracks, see how. And how much it increases the Wii. The Switch sales in direct comparison to when it actually releases.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if people are going to buy a Switch for this, but it's like people who already have a Switch who maybe were looking for some way to get active and couldn't deal with the gym or working out at home by themselves or whatever. Maybe they'll look at this and be like, "Oh, that sounds like it's for me." So, I mean, you're right. It could be a niche audience, but I really can't see anything negative about it other than how silly it looked in that commercial.
Yeah. Now, I will say an interesting statistic to look out for is how many of current Switch users bought this right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
Brought the ring right off the bat, so we can see how many people really wanted something like this or are interested in something like this. You know what I mean?
Because I tried it out, but
I'd definitely try it. I'm gonna see how much it is before I buy it. You know what I'm saying? This isn't necessarily the biggest investment on my physical fitness journey, but if it's the right price, I'll definitely look at it.
Yeah, honestly, I think it's cool. But watch that video; it's insane.
It's funny.
It is.
It's funny. Them cats is wild.
They're on something. But that's gonna do it for the Nintendo's Ring Fit. Next topic and our last topic before we go into our top threes and then later our Cannon Buster spoilers. Ubisoft had an interview with GameIndustry.biz, and they basically laid it out flat. They're no longer interested in making shorter campaign style games, like kind of short story based one-off single player games. Mm-hmm. Ubisoft is like, nah, we're in the open world business. We want to make things that multiple people can play, stuff that we can monetize, stuff that will have long lives after the release of the game. And they just find that to be the most viable way to make games for their company. And it's funny that they say that, because when I think what was the last single player, well, not single player, but when was the last kind of linear story based game that Ubisoft released?
I can't either.
Assassin's Creed was very broad, and they kept adding new story content to it. And I think that's kind of what they mean, where they were, putting out, paid DLC, free DLC to add to the game, story creator mode, stuff like that.
Does that strike you guys as a negative that Ubisoft is saying we're not going to focus on this?
Oh no,
I think it's a great thing, because when we often used to buy games, you beat that game, and it was like, what do we do? Putting out games that have more life and give you a chance to earn more revenue to it, but also gives the fans a chance to experience the things that they love a little bit more.
Okay.
I think that good on them for saying, you know what, this is our style. This is what we're gonna do. We're not really gonna sell out. We got our corner, and we're gonna stay in it. You know what I mean? Slow and steady wins the race. We're gonna make these big open games because that's what our people like, and that's what we like to give them. So do it to it.
They also did mention that they intend to put smaller stories in those bigger games. So like Jeff was saying, they can do kind of one-off tales as DLC and stuff. Mm-hmm. So maybe you're not really losing, I guess, that from them. Like if they have studios that want to tell a pointed, focused story, they can just do it in a bigger, like they'll stuff it into like a bigger.
Yeah, they did that with
thing.
Assassin's Creed Odyssey, where they told the story of the First Blade, or they told the story of went over a few of the gods like Zeus and Hades and stuff like that. But the First Blade was more like a very linear story. It told who was the first assassin, that type of stuff. Same thing with Origins. It told the origins of the Brotherhood and how it came to be, and even had DLC that kind of covered different things of it. So, yeah, I mean, nothing but good news.
Well, Ubisoft is one of the big leaders as a publisher and developer in gaming, period. Do you think them coming out and saying this is what we're going to do because it's successful and people like it, do you think that's going to influence a lot of other studios to also stop making smaller stories?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. I mean, the smaller story games now aren't as prominent as they were before. I think now a lot of, companies are putting out games that live on through DLC. I mean, how many games came out and there wasn't like a season pass for it or something?
Yeah, that is the trend.
True. I feel like, I don't know, Ubisoft in their own world for a long time. They've been making it happen. I don't know if they're that influential on other studios and other production companies. What everyone else is doing, and this is kind of something that they said they don't like doing, but the microtransactions and loot boxes, that's keeping a lot of production companies afloat. And because Ubisoft isn't on board with that, I don't think they're really going to take their opinion that seriously.
What do you mean they're not on board with that?
They have microtransactions.
They have it, right? But they don't like to do it. And they said in their interview, they try and keep it to a minimum, and they don't like it to affect gameplay as much.
See, here's the for me for microtransactions. I don't like loot boxes. The randomness isn't. I'm not about that. But if there's a skin that I want, and I can go ahead and purchase that skin, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, for sure. Aesthetics are cool with microtransactions.
I mean, Ubisoft does the version, though, where you buy currency, and then you use that currency to then buy the thing that you want to do.
Yeah. And in Assassin's Creed, you have ships and weapons you could buy early on, stuff like that.
Yeah, it's like, and sometimes, like, I don't know about the most recent Assassin's Creed games, but I'm thinking of For Honor specifically. In that game,
a mess.
you can earn, you can earn that currency by just playing the game regularly, but like the rate you do it at is so slow.
Yeah.
That it's like if you don't play that game like 7 hours a day every day, like you're really gonna have to spend money to start getting some of the cooler aesthetic items, and it is all aesthetics at least, but it's still kind of out of your reach if you want to get there. So I mean, like Ubisoft does do microtransactions. Like it's maybe not as egregious as say an EA or whatnot, but they still do it. So I didn't pick up on that part where they say they don't like to do it. But I can't imagine, they're a big ass company. Of course they wouldn't say that they don't like to do it, but it's in there, so clearly you're doing it.
Yep.
I mean, and we've talked about this before. $60 games I ain't covering the bills for the production quality.
Yeah, they don't have long tails. Like you make a shorter campaign, people can buy that, turn around, sell it to GameStop, and then that's the end of your revenue stream. You got just the sale,
exactly,
and then they don't make any money from the resale if it goes to somebody else after that. So I get it.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Well, if all of the big name companies do follow suit with Ubisoft, because Ubisoft has been following the trend of all the other companies anyway in terms of making these games as services, etc. But I do think the indies will fill the space for those smaller, focused stories, at least for now.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't think we have to worry too much about that kind of game going away entirely, just because Ubisoft and EA and Activision kind of don't want to do that anymore. But I don't think we have too much to worry about now, in case you were worried that those will just go away entirely.
Yeah.
But
I think we'll be all right.
But that's going to do it for our topics for this week. We're going to go now into our top 3 DLCs.
Hey,
anybody want to go first?
I'll go first.
Jeff, what's up? What you
So
got?
my first top DLC.
Hey, don't be choosing mine, by the way, because you stay doing that.
I wanted to go first, so I could steal one of yours.
Dang it! See, I was. Oh man! All right, I
And
got
that's gonna
second.
be
I got second.
the Undead Nightmare for
Oh, that's a
Red Dead
good
Redemption.
one. That's a
Red
good
Dead
one.
Redemption.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not only did it add the multiplayer mode where you could play with your buddies and kind of kill zombies and stuff like that, but also added like you could hunt these mythical creatures. You could get the four horses of the apocalypse. My favorite was War, by the way. You ride on this fiery horse.
Yeah, that
when
was
you ran
cool.
into people, to zombies, it caused them to explode.
They
Stuff
also
like that.
added a unicorn.
They did. They added a unicorn. You could hunt a chupacabra, stuff like that. It was really cool.
Yeah,
And the
that was a
story
really
like,
dope expansion.
Yeah, the story was awesome. Like, cause you wake up. Your son and wife get bitten. You tie them up because they're zombies now, and you got to go find out how to cure everybody and what's going on. And it's just funny that who it leads back to, who actually started it, and then it's like, oh, when it's over, it's not over. You hear the laughing, and you see the dude walking off with the artifact and stuff. So it was pretty cool. Number 2 is going to be the Blood and Wine DLC for The Witcher.
Okay.
Yeah, I heard
really
about
good
that.
one. It added more mutations, and you can purchase a house and like a little armory, and like there's I still haven't finished it, but there's so much story in it. It's like pretty much the size of the base game.
Yeah, like that was the thing, right? And it was free.
Yeah, no, you had to pay for it.
Oh, that one was okay.
Yeah, but it was like $10.
But damn, that's significant.
That's really good.
Which is like another 40-something hours of gameplay.
That's the main reason
Like,
I stayed away from Witcher 3, man. There's
Oh.
just too much game. Too much game.
when I got that setback of not being able to load the disc, and I bought the Game of the Year edition, and it didn't. And the
transfer
save didn't
over.
count as the same thing, and I was like,
That's
But
heavy.
my third favorite DLC is probably going to be the Taken King.
That's a
Ooh,
good one. That was almost on my list.
Ooh, same here.
It reworked
That was
Destiny.
a good one.
It fixed a lot of issues we had in the beginning.
That
There's
story was
cool
super
armor.
cool.
Yes, it introduced swords.
Yeah.
Who doesn't like swords? And I think Origins and the Taken were like a really cool addition.
Yeah, like that's the story of like, oh, wasn't it Oryx
Yes.
and stuff?
Yeah.
And like we had to kill his son Crota in like the expansion that came just before it. Like that was a really good.
And he came
It
back
was.
with the vengeance. You know, like he was not messing around. And I remember like the feeling of kind of hopelessness because everybody that we killed just came back to kill us. You know what I mean? So
Right,
it's
yeah, it was like
don't
taking
know what
versions
to
of
do.
all these bosses and stuff.
Yeah.
That was
Right,
really cool. It really did
Yeah.
rework that whole game.
It did, and it fixed a lot of stuff. It brought
It
a lot of
saved
people
it.
back.
It saved Destiny.
It did.
You
Yeah.
really did. That's a good one, Jeff. I got you. Yeah, that was good.
And that's my top 3.
Okay.
All right, Blue, you said
Okay.
you wanted to go second.
Yeah, let me go second. So, also from the Destiny universe, Forsaken.
Yes.
I thought Forsaken was an amazing DLC.
it was.
Um,
That's Destiny 2, right?
Destiny 2. Excuse
Yeah.
me. The bow and arrow is just such a cool weapon.
That's a y'all
It
know
was-
me and the bows.
I know, like, I'm not even the guy who really likes bows, and that's in all my
The
builds.
bow is so fun.
It is really
It's
fun.
so much fun. Like, you feel like a sniper, and you can do some mid-range stuff. There's a lot of buffs that come with it, especially if you're playing as a hunter. And that's just, guys, that's just one aspect of Forsaken that like really made it for me. The story was super cool. I wish it was a little bit longer, but
Yeah.
you know, that's how you know it's a good story because you want more. So, Destiny 2 Forsaken was amazing. Next has to be Star Wars Battlefronts 2. You know, there's Star Wars on my list,
Of course.
right?
Of course.
Resurrection, where they continued the story of the main character when she's an old lady and you get to fight with her daughter, going through it. And now the cool thing about Resurrection is that Resurrection happens at the end of The Last Jedi.
Okay.
I think it is. Yeah, so if you watched if you played the game and then you went and watched the movie, you'll notice there's some scenes that actually cross over. Like you can see it from other sides. Yeah, it's
that's cool.
Super cool. Yeah,
that's really cool.
Yeah, it's super. Like just talking about it makes me want to play it again because. And then you watch the movie, you see what was happening on the other side of the explosion that Leia almost died from, and it's just there's a reason why everything happens, and it's just Star Wars lore galore for me.
Yeah, I like stuff like that when like they do cross media and then like kind of tell you alternate versions. Like if you guys remember the Enter the Matrix game from back in the day, it had like alternate scenes for Ghost and what was Naomi? Ghost and Naomi.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like the part where Morpheus was fighting the agent on the truck and then he fell and then Naomi was there to catch him. You play her going through traffic trying to catch up to that truck.
Him. Yeah.
So like that kind of stuff is cool. Yeah.
And last but not least, another Assassin's Creed. Freedom Cry. I love this. Oh
yeah, I wanted to play that so bad. I never got the chance
to. Oh, you have to pick it up. You play as Adewale,
right?
And he's in the Caribbean,
and he's Nigerian,
and he's freeing slaves,
mind you.
Yeah, he's a Nigerian. And he's just killing it, man. He runs around with a machete,
killing slave masters, right?
He's nice with it. You know what I'm saying? You're freeing slaves on plantations. You have to get all the watchers and everything like that, and it was so great that they made it like you could purchase it separately. You didn't even have to get Black Flag.
Yeah, it wasn't tied to like the main game.
Yeah. So, especially being a Jamaican, Caribbean American, I loved seeing slaves getting freed in that area. That was really nice, and being able to do it.
A cool premise.
Yeah. So those are my three. Those are my 3 top DLCs.
They've been really good so far.
Yeah.
And none of them have overlapped. So
I know.
I'm gonna give you guys my 3.
Destiny ones.
Yeah.
Right. That's the closest we come. But mine are totally different than those. My first one is the DMC reboot. Remember it was the one by Ninja Theory that Microsoft has recently just bought? Virgil's Downfall was the story immediately after the game story concluded, where he actually fights his brother Virgil, and then Virgil kind of dies and goes to hell, and then you play as Virgil, and you kind of go through Virgil's like internal conflict with kind of his behavior and like his relationship with his brother and like his relationship with humanity, and like you see him struggling, and it's like manifested physically in like the enemies he's fighting and the story that's being told and stuff, until he comes out the other side and he's like resolute in his conviction to basically take over mankind for their own good. Like it's a dope story.
Wow.
It's just as like he plays completely different to Dante, which I really appreciate it. Yeah, like it feels like it's the same really good combat, but he plays totally different to Dante. Like he has like different abilities. The way you kind of get his combos to work hinge on he can kind of separate himself into like clones and stuff, and like you'll start an attack and then like move off from there, and then that attack will kind of repeat itself as a clone, and then you can jump on with your actual self and then leave another clone, and then like you can separate yourself with different people. Dante can't do nothing like that. Dante's abilities are all about throwing people in the air, juggling, switching weapons. Virgil only ever had the one weapon, his sword, and then he would teleport and stuff, and like he can like shoot blades with it or whatever. Like it was completely different gameplay. It was so dope though. Like I love that game so much that I played through that story like immediately after I finished it on the original difficulty. I played through that, then I played through the Virgil DLC because I got them all together when I got that game. Then after I beat that, I went back and played DMC, and then went back and played Virgil's Downfall again. Like, that's how much I love that DLC. That game in general is probably one of my favorite action games ever. But Virgil's Downfall was a really, really good DLC. Number 2 on my list is Borderlands 2's Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon Keep. You guys remember that?
I'm so glad you said that one.
With the D&D?
The D&D stuff.
That joke was so... It was so well done, and like... Not only was the campaign itself like really fun in terms of like how they mixed it up, how they had Tiny Tina kind of being a narrator who could change the world around you because you're kind of playing her story.
Yeah,
like you're playing a representation of her telling a a D&D story. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that it's literally Tiny Tina dealing with her depression over the fact that Roland died.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because at the end of that story, like, she makes Roland like a character in the world, and like you see her like struggling to kind of accept the fact that he's gone. Like, it's kind of a complete twist, because that game is like super silly. Borderlands is not very, you know, it doesn't take itself too seriously at all. But then like they really kind of made you give a damn about those characters, and Tiny Tina is struggling with that in such a creative way. It's really probably one of the best DLCs I've ever seen. Like, that was so cool.
I feel that.
So that's my number 2.
Yeah, that's a good one.
My number 3 is GTA 4's The Lost and the Damned and The Ballad of Gay Tony. Both of those together. Because if you remember, I think that's
they were grouped up right there. Like,
no, they came one after another.
Okay.
They were probably like grouped up after. But other than the Red Dead Undead Nightmare, that's the only other, I think, story DLC that GTA's ever released. And literally, it did a similar thing to what you were saying, where Star Wars had a side story, like because the Lost is a biker gang that you deal with in the regular story, but then you basically control their vice president. And honestly, was what's the name of that biker TV show?
Sons of Anarchy.
Sons of Anarchy, yeah. Was that? I think that must have been on before this happened, because it was literally like Sons of Anarchy.
It was like, and they reflected that in GTA 5 as well with their
Biker
Motorcycle
DLC.
Club DLC.
Right, yeah, and
they
Lost,
love that show.
Yeah, The Lost was essentially, you were basically playing through a season of Sons of Anarchy, whatever, and it was a really cool story. And then there's a specific mission where you see something that the main character Nico Bellic went through from a different perspective, because you were there with the bikers in that confrontation. And then in the Ballad of Gay Tony, you play a Hispanic bodyguard for Gay Tony, who's like this big kind of club guy, underworld dealer and stuff. You play his bodyguard. I think his name is Luis. And you play the third perspective for that same mission from Luis's perspective. So you see what you played in the main game, what Nico did. Then you play what I can't remember what the main guy from The Lost and the Damned's name is. He actually gets killed in the beginning of GTA 5 when you get introduced to Trevor.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, Trevor kills that biker from that DLC.
Oh my gosh.
And then Luis plays from that other perspective. And like, each story was unique. You know, they were apart from the other ones.
Yeah.
But you're seeing kind of how it got there. Yeah, how the other people in that world were behaving and doing. And honestly, it's GTA, so you know they were just shooting a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
But it was really interesting, and it's sad that because of GTA Online, Rockstar really hasn't found the need to do more single player content. I mean, they're kind of shoving it into the multiplayer where you can do it with friends, but it does kind of lose a little bit of something, I feel like. But those are my 3.
Yeah.
That's a good 3.
I have some honorable mentions, y'all.
Go ahead.
No, you don't.
Final Fantasy 15 had 2 really good DLCs. One was called Comrades, where you actually made a character and you played it just as one of the Kingsglaive soldiers. And you had one weapon and you can just teleport and fight with your friends, take down these big old monsters. It was super cool. And then the last one was the episode Arden, which kind of explains how one of the main antagonists got the way he was, like how he was tricked and he went crazy. And his whole play style was amazing. I didn't play it, but I watched my girl play it, and she went right through it in like a day and a half. She was like really into it, and I was into it too, sitting on the couch watching this. It was great. It was great. It was really well done. So Final Fantasy 15 has some honorable mentions for me.
Alrighty, so we're gonna go into our sign-offs right now.
Yeah.
Just in case people are planning to leave because they don't want to get spoiled on Cannon Busters. But the whole thing's on Netflix. Go watch it. If you haven't finished it, go finish it. We're just going to talk about that from beginning to end right after we do the sign-offs. So, Jeff, where can people find you if they're looking for you on the internet?
You can find me on Facebook at Superman Jeff Plays, and you can also find me on Mixer at Superman Jeff 12. Also, go ahead and hit that subscribe button at the bottom. Hit that like. We definitely appreciate and need those. And hit the bell notification so you get notified when we post new content.
Yep. Blue, where can people find you?
Ooh, you can find me on mixer.com/bluebones, BLUB0NESXB as an Xbox. You can find me on Facebook with Play with Blue Bones. Once again, BLUB0NES. Yeah, man, that's me.
And as always, you can find me at Sigma Gears 9 on pretty much all social media. My Facebook is Sigma and Son. Check me and Starboy out, see what we've been playing over the past couple of weeks. And if you want to see any of the reviews that I'm always talking about, head over to escapistmagazine.com or head over to the Escapist YouTube channel and check out the 3-minute reviews. Pretty much half of those are reviews done by me, and also just check out the rest of the channel. But definitely please go to the BBETGaming YouTube channel and subscribe, just like Jeff said. We need those subscriptions up so we can get our custom domain after 100 and then monetize videos after we get 1,000. So tell your friends. Sign up your other YouTube accounts, because I know everybody got like 3 emails.
I know y'all got them.
So, help us out a little bit. Give us those subscription numbers. That's going to do it for sign-offs. We're going to move now on into our spoiler discussion for Cannon Busters.
Spoilers.
Get out now. We're coming in hot. Everybody died. All right, no, I'm lying. No, everybody didn't die. But,
oh, man.
So, I just want to say, if you don't know what Cannon Busters is and you're still watching this, I'm going to give you a quick description, which is weird that you would do that. But it is an anime, Netflix original anime, created by LaShawn Thomas. He's a artist who worked on The Boondocks as well as Black Dynamite.
Mm-hmm.
And
the animation.
Yeah, he's an animator. And he's basically behind this new series on Netflix that has mostly black characters. Like all 2 of the 3 main characters are black. The third one is a robot. But then there's a kingdom full of black people. There are bounty hunters chasing the kingdom people who are all black people.
Yeah.
Pretty much everybody you see in town are black people. It's not devoid of white people or Asians or whatever you want to say.
90% of the people that they encounter are some kind of black.
Like when you think about it, it's just the inverse of like any other TV show or anime where everybody's white, and then there's like this black guy, and then there's this Spanish guy.
There's,
there's
just a couple Cocoa Puffs in the milk.
Right.
That's normally how it is.
Wow.
Just sprinkle a couple.
But it's like it's crazy how weird, but also like what's the word? Like it's like it feels good to see.
It's refreshing.
That. Yeah, refreshing is a good word.
It's reassuring.
It's like it's cool because like not much. It's just how the world is. It's not. They don't have to explain it. There's not some.
It's like, not like, they was in Africa and that's where the setting is. Like,
a meteor came and it killed all the white people.
Yeah, like they all just really tan.
Yeah, that's just how the world is. Yeah. So that much I appreciate a lot.
Yeah,
the art is good.
All the different hair types.
Yes,
there was a whole bunch of noticeable different hair types.
True.
Yes.
Like the aesthetic of that show is probably one of its strongest features. I would say its absolute strongest feature are its opening and ending soundtracks.
I was just about to say that. Yo, I get so bad because I always want more out of that intro. Like, it ends a little chorus, and then it's like, woo! And I'm like, no!
The music on it is really good. I definitely enjoyed the soundtrack. Yeah.
The ending song is also... Like, cause I only heard the full song after I watched the season finale because it usually just rolls over to the next episode,
Oh yeah.
But I didn't realize like that mellow jingle. There's music behind that, and it's honestly, after listening to it the one time, it's better than the intro. So if you haven't listened to that full thing, go listen to that.
I'm gonna have to. I think I have.
Listen to the exit song. Like it's crack. But what do you guys think about the actual show, like the plot line, the characters? Let's get into it.
Jeff, you want to go first?
Yes, the main character was okay, but he didn't seem as fleshed out as he could have been. When I thought of Billy the Kid and I thought of the main character, I thought, he's immortal, but he died too much.
Philly.
Yeah, Philly. I said Billy. Philly the Kid.
I didn't even catch that.
And hold on, put some respect on. His name is too cool to call him Billy.
Yeah, it's a cool name.
Yeah.
And I thought his character design was cool too.
It was. The way he looked aesthetically, from the scars, from the way the immortality worked with the numbers. I like that. That was cool. But he was a shitty shot.
Yeah, that also kind of bugged me.
Yeah, for me, when I first saw him, I think, oh, he's gonna be a badass. And then like when somebody just so happens to be able to kill him, he'll come back. But it won't be as easy to kill him like getting drugged by some chick you're trying to come on to in a bar.
And also, he was a creep. Did he? He totally just grabbed her ass in the middle of that bar.
Yep. He was definitely a perv.
And like he stank. Everywhere he went, everybody said that he was like he really stank. And I'm guessing there's a reason for that. Like maybe because he smells like a dead person.
That's what I was thinking.
But because everybody was saying he stank. Like even the lady that was
the robot
was like, "Go
the robots telling me
stinks." Yeah, like with no sense of smell, they're like, "You stink." My senses are all screwed up.
Yo, as we mentioned that, I just really gotta highlight the roast session that Sam gave everybody. That one episode.
In that episode where she just started getting on everybody.
Yo, it was a good, healthy roast session. No one got exceedingly mad. You know what I mean? I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was good. But sorry, Jeff, I didn't mean to cut you. I just remember her talking about how bad he's
characters. I like the drunken samurai dude. He was pretty cool.
Nine was awesome.
Yeah, Nine. Yeah.
I feel like the bad guy looked funny-ish.
You mean like the main bad guy?
Yeah, I don't know if they were going for it. I get the monstrous look, but he felt like he wasn't. His design wasn't fleshed out to me.
Like clearly, there's something. Like they didn't go into that at all.
No,
but like
you just know he's serving some higher magic, something or another.
And clearly, him messing with magic made him look like that.
Yeah, but like everybody else was pretty fleshed out. The way they were, everybody was unique. Like I said, my biggest issue was Philly. He just didn't. I don't know. He wasn't a threat to me.
Yeah, I take issue with that too. He, like the way he looked in all the previews, was just like he was kind of built up as like, oh, he's just dangerous, whatever. And that's kind of you get that sense from the world. Like the world is trying to track him down. Like he has a really high bounty on his head, and he's supposed to be hard to kill. It's because most people don't know he's actually immortal.
Impossible to kill. Yeah. And then he learns how they tried to kill him. Then he kills them from that.
Except it's kind of always an accident, or I mean, like he can fight sort of, but like he's no better than anybody who's coming to kill him. Like he usually gets killed by anybody who's trying to kill him.
You mean like Wolverine?
Or like a little 400-year-old dude, a little 400-year-old toddler.
Yeah. But that
it was weird.
But no, but I actually liked that episode specifically because it gave a little more insight into what the hell was going on with Philly. Apparently, he was just cursed by when magic was a thing. Because there's no magic now, but there used to be. And then that guy was cursed to be a little kid forever, and then Philly was cursed to be immortal. So apparently, people were just getting cursed back in the day, and that explains kind of what was going on.
I mean, like he got cursed. It was kind of like a sell your soul to the devil thing. Like he wanted revenge, so he got immortality to get that revenge.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I gotta say, in my opinion, you can tell that LeJean Thomas has watched all the animes that we grew up watching on Toonami, because there was aspects of everything in there. And I don't know if it was one of y'all or somebody pointed out to me the other day when I was watching this. In the middle of every episode, they got the Cannon Busters. And knowing damn well there ain't no commercial break.
Yeah, there's no commercial break. Yeah. Yeah, I did point that out. Well, I don't know if I pointed it out to you, but I didn't notice that.
Yeah. And I was just like, he did that because that's
what anime is. Yeah. That's what anime is. He was following the structure, which I appreciate.
You could tell. Yeah, I appreciate it. And there's a lot of different elements. You know, he went through all the tropes for the most part. There's a lot of different elements that you could see pulled from all the early 2000s, late 90s anime that we was watching. And it was nice to see, but I feel like it was so scattered out. I would have liked a little bit more focused storyline. I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a little all over the place. Like you guys said, the main antagonist looked like a third evolution Pokemon. Like he didn't look any kind of used to be human. You got very little about his origins. We know that the king kind of abandoned his mom. Yeah, and that was
or something.
That's about.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Angry as he was, yeah.
But I would say
his squad was pretty cool. The
those
lieutenants.
lieutenants, they were interesting. And I don't know if you noticed, I think they were all women. I don't know about the ninja guy.
Okay, yeah, I noticed that. So I didn't even realize till the very last episode when
that
old girl
the big
took off
cyborg
her
took the
clothes.
jacket off. I was like, oh, that's a woman.
And I was like, oh,
Oh, the
snap.
robot chick? Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a chick. Yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that at all.
Yeah, the only one who I think is a dude might be that ninja.
Robot
But
anatomy.
And lastly, I was disappointed by the majority of the fights. I feel
can
like
agree with that.
they
besides
were
the samurai, the old dudes, besides his fights,
Yeah,
the other
Nine's
ones
fights were good.
You could tell his fights were definitely focused on. The fight at the last episode with, I can't remember the bodyguard's name. He was a super cool character
Oh, Odin.
too. Odin, yeah. Odin was a super cool character.
Yeah, Odin was dope.
But there was so many times where action was implied. It's the same problem I have with Baki. There's too much implied action. Show me the action, right? If you're watching Soul Eater, not Soul Eater, well that too, but Fire Force. If you're watching Demon Slayer right now, you know what action looks like.
Right.
All right. If you're going back over to Cannon Busters, you're seeing they're running at each other, and then you just see the swords clash, and then they back up. Like they're like, oh, that was a hard hit.
Like
and I'm just like, bro, let me see the swing. Let me see how he got him. Let me see the style differences. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because even in certain anime, they do that. They'll do like a cutaway to what actually happened during that flash.
Yeah. But it was never. You didn't get that in here. And there was one scene in particular where that one girl with the eye patch was walking up. Is in the last episode too. Was walking up to the rest of the squad like she's, oh yeah, I'm about to kill y'all. Blah blah blah. The animation was super crappy on that. It was like a 3-picture cycle that they did. Her hip was in one place, level, the other place. One place, level, the other place. It happened like 4 or 5 frames in a row, and I was like, is this happening? Like, is my stuff lagging? I rewound it to make sure that my stuff wasn't lagging.
So there's some dips in quality, I guess.
It was, and it's not even like bandwidth quality. It's the quality of the animation itself.
Yeah,
I feel
it seems like maybe with
the last bit was rushed.
Yeah, maybe with the budget they had, they couldn't kind of, because you know they're capable of doing dope action because we've seen Nine do dope action in the show.
Exactly.
But then like Philly's fights, I think part of it is kind of the fault of like what Jeff was complaining about. I also agree. Like Philly isn't actually like very skilled.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they want him to be more of like a comic relief character or something like that, because like that's disappointing to me, because like he'll jump out of the way of bullets or like roll around, he'll like try to shoot somebody. He doesn't do any of that cool. Like he's not good at gunfighting. Like his gun isn't particularly special, or he doesn't have any special abilities with guns. Like you don't see him train or anything. Like he's very average in terms of his combat abilities. Like the best thing he did was that one punch in the last episode, where for whatever reason they went ham on the animation for him punching the crap out of that main assassin.
It wasn't ham though. It was just black and white. Yeah, which is something that we hadn't seen before. So,
but like they emphasized how hard he hit her, but like honestly, all he did was punch her. He didn't. It wasn't like a special punch.
It really wasn't. It really wasn't. I don't need bullets. Like, bro, chill. Come on, man. That's
another thing. His voice actor is kind of iffy to me, but he did have some funny ass lines. Like, he would say some hilarious stuff in the middle of like, and I'm wondering if that was like maybe improvised or something, because like the stuff he would say would really just sound like something like a black dude would just say offhandedly in that situation. So like that I thought was cool, but then in other places, it was kind of annoying. Like the fact that he was complaining.
Just randomly like, what the shit? Like,
yeah, like stuff like that.
And I was like, yo, no, I definitely feel you. There's like especially from the first episode, I was like, oh yeah, this is a black anime, because some things he was saying is just like, no, I'm not going in there. That's stupid. Like, I was walking the other way.
Like when Odin. Like, it was like last episode, he walked up to Odin. Odin was like, oh, so you're immortal? He was like, yeah, and the sky's blue. Odin was like, huh? He was like, well, he was like, well, you said something obvious, so I just said something obvious.
Yeah, so they definitely have the potential for good comedy. We get that. They did that. But I feel like there's areas that just weren't explored, and they put too much emphasis on one side and not on the other. I don't know, man. It was a lot of touch and go for me.
Yeah, I also thought, honestly, out of the three main characters, weirdly enough, I found Casey, the maintenance robot, to be my favorite.
Yeah.
Honestly, I could tell that.
Like she was cute, she was funny, she was like happy-go-lucky. Like she would kind of call Philly out on his BS most of the time.
Yeah.
But Sam was kind of a little too ignorant. Like I get that she was built to be a friend, but she kind of got grating. And then the fact that anytime somebody was in trouble, she would turn into her Cannon Buster mode, and then she would sit there for like 3 hours trying to charge a single shot, and then be like, Sam, no, don't do it. And then it'll wait for a second, and then she'll charge again. I'm like, I'm tired of seeing this. Like, you keep doing this. Like,
and it's the same animation too, man. Like, I feel like Sam's character was too OP and underexplained. They tried to, do it at the end of the season. They're like, oh, that's a cannon buster. It's ancient magic. It's an old golem, blah, blah, blah.
War golem or something.
Yeah, war golem. And I'm just like, all right, if we got that explanation a little bit earlier and we could understand how she functions, that'd be a little bit cooler. But it's like she always got to the next level very quickly. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
There's lots of animes where characters are getting beat down and they have to unlock that potential through a beatdown, right? Hers was just 0 to 100 real quick every time.
Nothing. I don't think anything touched Sam. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, like those bandits were like kind of electrocuting her a bunch of times. Yeah, they just knocked her out.
So
she did, like, Sam hasn't fought anything. I don't think, right?
Yeah, she did.
Except when she was like the big robot. She fought stuff when she was like a regular.
Hers
when there was
more of a defense mechanism where she didn't know she was doing it. It was more of it was triggered by hostile
intent against a friend.
Yeah.
So the Fetters episode had that one guy who kept stealing souls, and he was able to touch Sam. Like, he kind of knocked her into the ground for a little bit, and then she came back and killed him. Mm-hmm. So it was,
but it wasn't like a fight, because like just like Jeff said, like, she doesn't know that she's like a weapon.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, she doesn't know that at all. They made that clear from the first episode when Philly was like, "Yo, do that thingy with your mouth again." She's like, "What you talking about?"
What?
That sounded bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you meant, but it's not what it sounded like. I also want to point out Prince Kelby. I don't know how to feel about that character. He was like super annoying, but then also a little bit endearing. But then he would just go right back to being annoying. Like, he was all over the place.
The way he talked to Sam when they reunited, I was like,
"Yeah, like, what the hell is that about?"
I was like,
he's an F-boy.
Kill him.
Kill him.
Honestly, I was like, Philly, I wouldn't even be mad if you pulled the trigger at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like, I don't understand. Like, that turn was so weird.
Jerk. And then as soon as she gets all big and bad, he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, we really best friends. Like, please don't do this." Like, no, bro.
Like, where did that insight come from? Like, your fear? Like, get out of here.
Exactly what it was. Or like, "Oh, my friend's actually valuable. Let me go ahead and use her." I did not like the prince.
Because, like, in the very beginning, like, he was kind of framed as being idealistic and altruistic when he was with Sam in the tree, and then the kingdom falls, and then he was a spoiled brat. Like, Odin, go check the castle out. No, we're gonna do this. Odin, you have to listen to me. Like, what?
And that's exactly how he sounded.
Like, he was real annoying.
So
and then
you were spot on. You were very spot on with your interpretation of him.
I also think there's some inconsistencies with. I have 2 more points. One, there's inconsistencies with Sam's weight, because in the second to last episode, like, these dudes couldn't even move her.
Yeah.
But Philly's picked her up a couple times.
Yeah, he's dragged her along and stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll talk about that. And that's one thing I didn't like. And then I did like Bessie. I didn't understand how big Bessie was initially until I realized that there's a cabin underneath.
Yeah, it's a big, ass car.
I thought Bessie was cool. That was like a huge vehicle.
I like,
but I would have liked some backstory on that too.
Yeah, because I'm like, I feel like, just like you were saying, LaShawn Thomas kind of just all the anime, like, that was kind of his homage to Gundam / Transformers or whatever.
/
But
Big
like,
O.
but like, yeah, like, but like, what the hell does that car have to do with anything? Like, I like the car.
Anything. And why does Philly have it?
Yeah, and like, and it's destroyed at the end of the season. So it's like
It gets wrecked so many times.
it's
So-
like
Treat it like crap.
it's
do
just
we give it
holes, just holes.
Do we give it a pass or do we give it a fail?
Honestly, I'm kind
Oh,
of
does it have to be pass or fail?
yeah. I wouldn't want to put it in terms like that.
If
Like
put out a
honestly,
10.
watch it. But for me, it's kind of like I can take it or leave it. Like there's a lot of good in there, but also like the stuff that, like in terms of the way it tells its story, and a lot of its action and pacing and stuff.
Yeah.
All of that stuff is actually kind of bad, and it's sad. It's saddening to say that because I love the concept so
I want
much.
to support it so much too.
Yeah, and I want to support
I
it
think
because the art and the creators and stuff like that.
I'd give it a 7.
Wow.
6.5
I think that's generous.
or a 7. Reason why, because there were some elements that I did enjoy.
Mhm.
It wasn't where I had to force myself to watch it. There was some stuff that needed to be improved on. But nowadays, in today's anime, in order for it to be a successful anime, it has to at least be an 8.5 or 9. In order for it to be,
Noticeable.
yeah. So
Yeah, it
a
has to
7
do.
isn't-
My bad. Go ahead.
It might seem high, but it's it's not high in compared to other anime that are out now. Like Fire Force, I'd give that like a B plus.
That's an entirely different grading scale.
I know, but I mean, well, like
He's trying to say 8.5.
8.5,
Okay.
just because, and it could be higher just once it starts to flesh some of the story out. You can't compare something that's been out for 8 episodes to something that's already had an entire
Full season,
So,
right?
yeah, so
I'd have to, on my 10 scale, I'd have to give it a 5.5 or a 6. There wasn't enough good for me to get anything higher than that. And I support this series, and I want to see if they put out a season 2. Definitely, I'm going to watch it because I want to see where they're going with this. If they correct any of the mistakes from the last season, but I can't honestly give it anything higher than a 6.
I'd probably be right there with you on a 6. And honestly, if it wasn't for like the art style and for the culture, etc.,
Yeah,
I probably wouldn't have finished it.
I feel that. I did have to kind of struggle through the last couple episodes.
Yeah, because overall it is particularly average, and a lot of shows can get away with being average in terms of story if they kind of double down on like action. Like
Action.
If the
Yeah.
fight throughout the whole thing were like something to see, I'd be way more forgiving of the kind of laxing story. But it's not.
Exactly.
Like there's like maybe 1 or 2 really good action scenes. All the other ones are like throwaway. Like I don't care about most of the other action that they did. And then the story, there are funny bits in it. There's interesting concepts, but they're not telling me anything
Yeah.
good. Like, so
Yep.
honestly, it would be take it or leave it for me. But off the strength of like its character designs and like its creator and stuff, yeah, I'm gonna watch it. And when the season 2 comes out, I'm gonna watch that too. And hopefully it gets better. Hopefully some of this feedback. I don't know what the rest of the internet honestly has felt about it. I haven't looked up any other reviews for this show, but if they seem to mirror kind of what we feel like, which maybe they do. I mean, we're 3 separate individuals. We all kind of feel similarly. I'm sure there's other people who feel the same way. Hopefully, word gets back to the creators and they do something about it.
Yeah.
So I will check out a season 2. But other than that, that's Cannon Busters. Anything else you guys want to add?
nope.
I need that theme song to be longer, the intro, because I get
listened
so
to that by
hyped.
itself a couple
I
of times.
can't even skip it.
Yeah, I've never skipped it once.
It's dun 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 dun. All right, let's keep going.
All right, that's gonna do it. And definitely check out the outro one too, because that's great. But that's gonna do it for episode 16 of the BBET GamesCast. Thanks to my 2 co-hosts, Superman Jeff 12 and Blue Bones, and thanks to everybody watching and listening. Peace.
Peace.
Really tripping. Why the fuck they always got that hate? Concentrate on a nigga while I'm out here trying to get him and forget it. Shaking my head, these niggas that don't sleep. Trying to get bread, your niggas that do sleep. At least I'm woke, nigga, I'm a beast. At least I know. Whoa. Tryna get